It's another triple threat. Let's do it. Stick around. Hello YouTube and welcome to this month's Triple Threat, the every other month show where I get a movie title with 3 words in it and I get each word in that title. I base a themed review around that name of the film and that. So this month's Triple Threat is the Texas Chainsaw and Massacre. So basically 3 films with 3 words in it. So let's start with the first review of this month's show, along with our shout-outs followed after the triple reviews. So let's start with the Chainsaw, and it is on Bone Tamohawk. So for my Texas review, I am reviewing Bone Tamohawk, written and directed by S. Craig Zachler or something, starring Kurt Russell, Patrick Wilson, Matthew Fox, Richie Jenkins, Lily Sampsons, David Arquette, Sid Haig and Sean Young. So this is a horror western about a group of men, the sheriff and some local folks that go out to rescue the wife of one of the citizens of the town, played by Patrick Wilson. They're out to rescue his wife, played by Lily Simpsons or whatever her name is, the girl from Banshee. They venture out to rescue her from some Native Americans that have abducted her and want to perform dark sacrificial acts on her. So, yes, this, like I just said, Western horror. So, let's get on to the likes and the dislikes about this one. First of all, my likes. I like the opening scene with Sid Haig and David Arquette, and the opening scene, I like that, and basically it pretty much went downhill from there. So straight to, well, other likes. I like the actors in it. I like Kurt Russell's character, his performance in it, with Patrick Wilson and Matthew Fox and Richard Jenkins and that. Matthew Fox and Richard Jenkins, I did not recognise them at first because of their characters they were playing, but I knew it was them eventually. So other than the cast and that, the story of the film, this is where the dislikes come in. I found this film long and boring. It was about 2 hours and 10 minutes long, and I found it a waste of the 2 hours and 10 minutes, I really did. Other than the short opening scene with Sid Haig and David Arquette, which I think were just cameos, yeah, I just did not like this film at all. I thought it was boring. I thought it might be a slow burner. It might pick up in the third, after the first half hour, it would pick up. Then I thought maybe in the next hour, the second hour, it would pick up, but it did not. I mean, it did pick up in the finale, like the last 20-15 minutes, but yeah, I just found this film boring. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of westerns to start off with, but I felt like I should watch this for this month's show, Triple Threat. But other than that, I was very disappointed by this film. It had a lot of good actors in it, and great cast, but it just was not a great film by the end of the day. In my opinion, I just did not like this film. I found it boring, and I will not recommend it to anyone. Uh, and yeah, I was very disappointed by Bone Tamohawk. Not as much gore and as much violence as I thought. And that, yeah, I just, again, like I said, did not like this film. Like the cast, like the actors, but just did not like the story or the film. Like I said, wasted 2 hours. I don't recommend this to you because I nearly fell asleep a few times. In fact, I even got my phone out because I was bored with it and that, but I thought I need to try and see it through to the end because I daren't turn it off unless it got better, and it didn't. So, yeah, with all that being said, I'm going to give Bone Tamohawk 2 machetes out of 5. So, for the next review, it is the Chainsaw. Let's go! And for the Chainsaw review, I am reviewing Army of Darkness, written directed by Sam Raimi, starring Bruce Campbell and Enbeth or summit. David Sam, I can't get her name right. Okay, so this is the third installment of Sam Raimi's original Evil Dead trilogy, where kind of taking off from where the second film ended, Evil Dead 2 Dead by Dawn. Ash is sucked back in time, and it turns out in the year 1300 he was the saviour that came from the sky, and basically trapped in the past he has to help this castle, all these people from the Middle Ages, stop, well, the Army of Darkness, the Evil Dead, basically from rising up and destroying the world and bringing upon the apocalypse. This is a comedy, fantasy, action, horror, and it's, to say how cheesy it is, I actually like this one. So let's get on to this, to the likes and the dislikes. First of all, I loved the massive chainsaw hand that he has from halfway into the second film to this film. He makes a robo hand as well out of a medieval mitt, but still you can't beat the classic chainsaw hand, which is why I thought I'd pick this for the chainsaw review. So yeah, I loved that. I loved his weaponry, and I just loved how he fooled the 14th century people so easily with his whole, like, this is my boomstick and that. I also like how there was an evil Ash, how he how they all split into little people and that, and then one of them grew and became an evil duplicate. There was also the Book of the Dead that got the name the Necronomicon Ex Mortis, and basically, yeah, they they were using, like, the Evil Dead wanted to use it to run around and rampage the earth, but of course Ash Williams, Bruce Campbell, won't let that go down with a fight. I like the comedy in this too. I love the action, I love the adventure. It's not even gory. Well, it does have gore in it, but it's not as gory as the others. In fact, this is probably the most tamest one throughout the series. It's, cheesy, it's B-movie style, which I think makes it look even good. I just loved this one. It was the conclusion of the original trilogy that Sam Raimi started way back in 1981, and he got to conclude it with Army of Darkness. Of course, there was the Evil Dead reboot, but I kind of have a theory on that it's technically Evil Dead 4, but I'm not going to talk about that now. Neither am I going to discuss the whole Ash versus the Evil Dead. Right now, I'm just talking about the third film, Army of Darkness. So, do I have any dislikes about this film? Not really. I do like Bruce Campbell's one-liners like groovy or hail to the king, baby. Because he does get offered the role as king after saving the villagers and that, but he chooses to go back to his actual time, work his normal dead-end job, because he much preferred that, because, well, I don't know, he just did. Anyway, yes, even though he stopped the apocalypse, there was no rest for the wicked. And of course, although Army of Darkness, how it ends and that, it's still kind of like they leave it open for another film, but they never did make another, they never made a direct sequel to Ash vs. Evil Dead. But, yeah, Army of Darkness. So I'll give you my final thoughts. Ratings, I am going to give Army of Darkness, do you know what? I'm going to give this 3.5 machetes out of 5. Okay, so time for the third and final review of this month's triple threat, and that is The Massacre. And for The Massacre, it's on Belko Experiment. So, The Massacre review, and that is on The Belko Experiment. Written and produced by James Gunn, directed by Greg McLean, starring John Gallagher Jr., Tony Goldwyn, Adri Argento, John C. McGinley or whatever, Marlon Diaz, Josh Berner, and Michael Rooker. So this is an action, well no, not action, a violent horror thriller about an office building called Belko in Mexico. There, people work there. All of a sudden discover they can't get out, and next thing you know, they're imprisoned in the building, and then they find out that they're also part of a game where they're forced to pick one another off. And if they don't abide by the rules, then more people will die. But basically that's the whole point of the game. Only one survivor can come out of this alive. And, well, basically that's what it goes through throughout this film. I'm sure I'm not giving any spoilers away because this is almost 3 years old and stuff. And basically this is like Saw meets The Office. Okay, so let's get on to my likes and dislikes about this one. First of all, my likes. I liked, well, it wasn't original, but I would definitely say it had its creative moments, like some of the kills and that. This also, I also liked, how people quickly turn on one another, and how the violence and that kicked off and stuff. This is a very gritty film and very suspenseful, and of course, people are left making tough decisions and that and stuff. I also like how the film ended, how it turns out that it wasn't just Belko Corporation that was in this dilemma. It was loads of people, loads of businesses around the world, and that. Anything for me to dislike? I guess there were a few characters that I didn't like in this, but that was the whole point. It's like you want to root for your favourite one, which is the main protagonist, and there are going to be some arseholes that will value their life too much and end up getting themselves killed. But yeah, I thought the cinematography was good. It was all great and everything and stuff. I like the, this was written by James Gunn, who is now known for like Guardians of the Galaxy. But he's done a lot of horror-related stuff like Sliver and Belko Experiment and that. And it also features Michael Rooker, so you can clearly tell that they're buddies. Michael Rooker was, Yandu in Guardians of the Galaxy and that. Okay, so final thoughts and ratings. I thought this film was done great. It was had a goodish cast, with some actors and that. It had a lot of suspense, a lot of grittiness, a lot of gore, a lot of violence, a lot of torture. So with all that being said, and also there was at the end of it all, it was a massacre. Loads of people did get killed and butchered all over the place. So with all that being said, I'm going to give Belko Experiment, I think I'll give this, I think I'll give it 3 machetes out of 5. So that has been the massacre review. Now for the next part of the show, which is our shout outs. Let's go. And this month's shout outs go to Carnage Candy, Horror Gal, and the Horror Miser Monty G. Be sure to check out those 3 awesome YouTubers and to tell them that I sent you their way. And that's it for this month's Triple Threat. If you like this video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up, share with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and to hit that notification bell. All my social media links are down below in the description. My Facebook group, The Random Horror Madhouse, my Twitter, my Instagram, all that, all linked down below, so be sure to check all that out. And yeah, so please do all that, and until next time. Oh, and also our shout outs, they're all linked down below too, their channels, so you can check them out. So, yeah, until next time, don't have nightmares.